everybody, welcome back to another video. So if you guys haven't been following along, I've been doing upgrades to my truck and camper to make it the best possible like overlanding rig that I can possibly make it. So first I started with an airbag suspension. I got that from Airlift. I'm really excited about that. And then I upgraded my lights. So I upgraded my fog lights, I added ditch lights and reverse lights, which I got all from Dynamics. One thing that a lot of people overlook is upgrading the shocks and the stabilizer on your truck from what comes from the factory. Now, one of the advantages of adding aftermarket shocks or upgrading your shocks would be a much smoother, more controllable ride. So all a shock really does is absorb all the energy from when you hit like a bump in the road or you're driving off road and gravel and things like that. Instead of making your truck bounce a lot like that, it really levels you out as you go. So I bought this truck with about 80,000 miles on it, and honestly, since the day I got it, it's been kind of a rough ride. Very stiff. It honestly felt like I was like bucking down the road when I would hit a big bump, and it just really wasn't ideal, especially with the camper. Now, we just did a trip to Yellowstone. You guys might have seen that. And then on the way there and on the way back, I was getting a ton of road vibration in the steering wheel. It was really bouncy. Every time we'd hit like an expansion point or just something in a road like a pothole, it would honestly be kind of jarring. So we knew it was time to upgrade the shocks and probably upgrade the stabilizer. Now, when I was trying to figure out exactly what shocks to get and what ones were going to be good for me, it took forever. I really looked at almost all of the brands out there. I looked at Fox, Icon, King, obviously Bilstein. I did a ton of reading and a ton of research, and I asked a bunch of people exactly what they thought, and everyone and everything kind of led me to believe that Bilstein was going to be the best possible solution for me. While other shock companies are great, especially if you have like Fox or King, those are absolutely phenomenal, but you really need to find the brand that would fit your specific application the most. And from what I learned is that Bilstein is really good for when you have a load in your truck or weight in the back. While Fox and King and Icon might be a little bit more plush on the road, they wouldn't give me the support that I need when I actually have the camper on. Now, just like Airlift and Dynamics, I reached out to Bilstein because those were going to be the best possible solution for me. I told them what I was trying to do, told them about this video and my rig, and they were more than happy to send me everything that I need, and I cannot thank them enough. Now, Bilstein asked exactly what I wanted, so I got 5160s for all four corners, and the front stabilizer is a 5100. Now, the 5160s are the ones that have the reservoir for extra oil. It might be a little overkill for me because I'm not like actually racing with these or doing Baja or anything like that, but I wanted to get the best ones possible because I really have big aspirations for this vehicle and going amazing places like Alaska. And the last thing I wanted to do is not get the best possible shocks that I can get and have to upgrade them later. Now, if you have a new truck or you live down south where rust really isn't a thing, you could probably do this entire installation in about an hour. It's really not that bad. It took me like 5 hours to do it, but that was just because everything under my truck is rusty. It has 150,000 miles on it. That's 150,000 miles of hard road, grime, salt, everything to just essentially fuse my bolts together. Now, on the front end, I actually had to use a torch to undo the bolts. It took forever. The spacing is kind of tight. And then on the rear end, I actually snapped the bolt that holds the bottom, so I had to go to Ford and get some new bolts. Now, the only specialty tool that I really needed was for the front stabilizer, and that essentially is like a big C-clamp, and it pushes it out. It's for tie rods. I got it from Harbor Freight. It worked fine. It was like $15. It is what it is. But other than that, and just normal sockets, you do have to have a torque wrench so you can torque everything down to specification because these are suspension components, and I did not want any loose bolts or over tightened bolts or anything like that. Are these shocks going to make this truck run like a Cadillac? No, It did not. Now, I will say it significantly improved the ride. It honestly feels like a completely different truck. Now, without the camper on, the upgrade is noticeable and significant, but really where it shines is with the camper on. I cannot believe how much smoother it is and more composed it is, and when you're turning, you really don't have almost any body roll at all. I've been really impressed. Now, take all of this though with a grain of salt, because once I took my old shocks off, I realized that out of the 4 corners and the stabilizer, 4 out of 5 were actually bad on it. So, which means I would compress them and they never decompressed or came back out, which is usually a sign of a bad shock. My overall impression is that I absolutely love them. They have been amazing. Are they gonna make this thing feel like a Cadillac? Absolutely not, but that's not what they're designed for. This is a 1-ton truck with a solid front axle. I do not have independent front suspension. I have a leaf spring in the back. Now, these are all things that are gonna make it run a little bit stiffer and bouncier because it's just a truck. This isn't a 4Runner or something that rides better. Like, I can't expect that out of it. I just drove all the way up to northern Wisconsin from my house, which was about 700 miles of driving. I really wanted to make sure I got almost all sorts of driving in before I gave you guys like a really good idea of how I feel. So I did a bunch of highway, a bunch of backcountry roads, and now I've been driving on 4 service roads for about 2 hours. So my only real issue is that it doesn't come with the bolts that you need to replace. So like I said, on the rear one, I used my big Milwaukee impact wrench and I just gave it too many ugga-duggas and it just absolutely snapped in the middle. I kind of wish it would come with the replacement bolts. I mean, these are really old, nasty bolts. I snapped one in the middle. I didn't feel real great about the other one because it did come apart, but I didn't know if I put too much stress on it. So I went to Ford and I just got some new bolts. I should have just gotten new bolts for the front too. It probably would have cost me like $25 total. If you're gonna go out and do this, I highly suggest just going to your local dealership and just getting new bolts. It'll make your life way easier in the long run, and you know that you have fresh, brand new bolts in there. I do kind of wish they came in the package. Now, obviously, I got this kit for free, so I can't complain at all. But for the price of it, I kind of think that they could put in like a $4 bolt for each one. But honestly, that's my only complaint, which makes me really happy. I have my new airbags, I have my new shocks, and it honestly rides like a dream. Now, the only other thing I want to do for ride quality is I actually want to get bigger tires. I have 35s right now, I want to go to 37s. And then I want to get smaller rims. So right now they're 20-inch rims. I want to get like 17s or 18s. So the more sidewall you have, the more the tire absorbs road noise, which will make my ride even better. It's not critical right now. Whenever I get around to it, that's my plan. But other than that, the ride is completely done. I actually want to hear what you guys think I should do next. I have a few things lined up and I have a few ideas of things that I want to do to the truck and camper, but I would really like to hear what you think. Maybe you guys have an idea that I haven't even thought of yet, or something that you've done to your own vehicle that you find really helpful and useful. I'd love to hear it. Drop a comment. I just wanted to say thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you next time.